Chapter 13. I made us a date at one of those places where each person in the class tries to paint the same picture. It's basically an art studio with a bar, and they provide all the materials and have instructors there to help you. You buy the tickets in a pair, so our class was mostly couples. And most of them seemed to be having a pretty decent time, but I don't think any of them were enjoying themselves as much as Michelle and I were. Which isn't shocking, considering we could have a good time doing nothing. So just give us alcohol and a bunch of paint that we didn't have to clean up, and you can just imagine. And we didn't take the paint part near as seriously as a lot of the other couples seemed to be taking it. Neither one of us had much experience painting, unless you count walls and occasional piece of furniture. We gave it an honest effort, but neither of us felt any pressure to bring home any masterpiece. We kept our expectations low and our spirits high. And we kept them high in alcohol content too. Being in a 2.5-hour class, sitting in seats right next to the bar. Now I had 2 stout rum and cokes, and they were stout. They made them stout there. I had 2 stout rum and cokes for the first hour. And it's a 2.5-hour class, and after that, just coke because I had to drive. And Michelle had 2 LITs, and I swear these LITs were so strong that we bought some Arizona iced tea and mixed them and made 4 weaker LITs that were still so stout she couldn't finish them all. They were potent. They don't mess around there. But incidentally, after the cancer diagnosis, Michelle and I cut out alcohol entirely and never even missed it. But at this point in our story, it wasn't unusual for us to partake in a refreshing libation or 2. And Michelle and I enjoyed having a few drinks on occasion. And date night at the art bar was just such an occasion. And before we put a single brush to canvas, we were already pooling our resources and collaborating as a team. So the instructor showed us which colors to mix to create the different shades that we need. And Michelle and I combined our paints and worked together to mix them. And we gladly accepted each other's help. And when we weren't painting on each other's aprons, we were painting on each other's canvases, just in a honest but playful attempt, just trying to make ours look more like the original. And it wasn't a very successful attempt, but it did make our paintings look a lot like each other's. And there was a point when I looked over at Michelle, and I could tell we were thinking the same thing. And we were just both smiling. I kind of, let's see, I was on the right to start, and I kind of scooted the canvases over like that until they were touching. And then we didn't say a word. We just both got up at the same time and switched places. And then for the rest of the night, we painted those canvases as one picture, mixing colors together and sharing them, trading seats so we could both add our own personal touches to each canvas while still keeping the whole thing in harmony. I think it turned out great. For a couple amateurs just goofing off anyways. And whether it's a classic work of art or not, I love it. And it still hangs on the same spot on the same wall where we hung it together initially. It's a happy memory. It's also very meaningful. So as I wrote this, I was standing there in front of it, and it's right over there, looking at it as I write this, and I honestly can't tell whose paintbrushes painted which brushstrokes. Michelle and I may not have demonstrated any outstanding painting skills that night, but the way we blended our styles together, so beautiful to me. So us. When I look at this lighthearted, alcohol-assisted splash of color hanging on our wall, I see so much more than just 2 different canvases that were painted in this one picture. I see a priceless treasure created in a brief, beautiful, bygone era before cancer, when 2 different people began painting as one.